So my question is fairly simple. Where does Texas go from here? And all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I'm not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today, my question is simple. Where do the Texas Longhorns go from here? Because prior to losing to TCU 37-27, they got to hang their hat on one fact. The two losses that they had suffered had come to undefeated and top 5 teams this year. Number 1 being LSU, who ascended to number 1 in the AP rankings for week 10. And then number 2 being to Oklahoma, who dropped a game to Kansas State 48-41 in Manhattan and falls from number 5 to number 10 and probably should have fallen farther than that. But have they fallen so far as Texas? No, not at all. Because while it was sort of a pick'em, not sort of, it was a pick'em. There was a 1-point spread for some people, and it was just kind of right there if you were looking at it to start the week and to end the week, where Texas Christian was looking like it might actually get a W against Texas, and nobody likes beating Texas as much as Gary Patterson likes beating up on Texas, outside of OU, of course. But 4 interceptions from Sam Ehlinger in a game where the kid that was supposed to be competing for a Heisman Trophy this year on the cover of Sports Illustrated darling, Sam Ehlinger, got outdueled by a true freshman quarterback in Max Duggan, kid from Council Bluffs, Iowa. Went in there and got a W. And this is not a good TCU team. It's not a bad TCU team, but it's not a good one either. Losses to Southern Methodist, Iowa State, and Kansas State. Those are all good football teams. Southern Methodist is by far the best of those teams. But now that you have done this, what do? You say, hey, no excuses, and we got to get the guys healthy that, can play and try to go and get W's. Sure, but it wouldn't necessarily be unlike what it was for Texas last year, where they suffered 4 losses and still managed to make the Big 12 championship game and win the Sugar Bowl against Georgia. Nobody's trying to take that from you. But that road is a little bit tougher this year. And you're not nearly as healthy. And the scuttlebutt out of Texas is that players are really, really starting to dislike them some Tom Herman. And I can understand, right? You put him through a death camp to start. And then you've had these sorts of these sorts of games. And when you kill yourself in a game like the one that you get against LSU and you don't get your just due, you drop some bodies. Colin Johnson's in and out for the next few games. You're really trying to make Devin Duvernay the center of your passing attack. You're developing a third-string quarterback into a second-string running back. You've had injuries. And Jake Smith, while I think he's going to be outstanding, he ain't there right now, right this minute. Same thing with Malcolm Epps and Brennan Eagles when those guys are ready to go and ready to play. But you got to get better defensively. You cannot continue to afford to give up all of these yards. We're talking about a Texas defense that could be historically the worst ever in school history. This is also following the Oklahoma loss. You needed a 2-point win against Kansas where you gave up 48 and over 500 yards of offense that came back to bite you against Texas Christian. When is Texas and where is Texas going to right the ship? I can't tell you, except to say Tom Herman ain't getting fired this year, so there's that. But if you got everybody healthy, you'd be like, yeah, we would probably have a better season this year as Texas fans. But look, that could be said for a lot of teams who just haven't been as blessed with the talent that Texas gets year in and year out. We're talking about Texas putting together what might end up being a top 5 class even now, as they've had a couple of decommitments. 2 of those guys have eyes toward OU, one more than the other. Josh Eaton, Princely Umanillion is another. But we'll see what that means. One of those guys has a, tie to Texas that I don't think is going to really get him away from there in a real way. The other guy, Josh Eaton, he had decommitted in a week or a day just before Oklahoma got showing up defensively. So we'll see what that means for him. He's got visits to LSU coming up. And then you got other guys for Oklahoma that you're in on. But this this shouldn't be the case for Texas. Texas should be more talented than most teams every single year, and definitely shouldn't lose games to the likes of Texas Christian, because all Gary Patterson does is evaluate talent that is less than the talent that is going to Texas, and then he turns that talent into a top 10 defense, a top 25 defense at minimum, and he's put number one, or I should say first round draft picks into the league, which, when's the last year that Texas did that? We're talking about LJ Collier coming out of Texas Christian last year. Who's the last number one draft pick to come out of Texas? This is an indictment. I don't know how long this is going to be able to keep up, but then again, I would say that it's been keeping up for quite some time, because Texas fans would love to look at 10 wins and never look at the 4 losses that they suffered. But right now, you're a loss away from that same loss record that you had last year, and I don't see 10 games for you to win here, man. I just don't. You still got some really good teams left on the schedule here. And are you getting healthier? Maybe. Maybe not. But if you keep pushing them like this and you keep yelling at them like this and they keep wanting to just go at your throat, it ain't going to be good for what you're trying to build there, Tom Herman. I understand that you feel some kind of way about how it's going down for you and your men, but facts are facts. And going into the month of November, you're sitting at 4-3. That is not a good look for the University of Texas. It's not a good look for Sam Ehlinger, who's probably going to come back for his senior year next year. It doesn't really look like he's going to be able to come out and play quarterback at the next level, the way that he runs the system, the way they run that scheme. Yeah, he's Tim Tebow light at this point. He is store brand Tim Tebow. And so is Texas football right now. All right, that's it for me. This is